And so what we wanted to do was start to explore, well, how could we give a toolkit for that? How could we explain what it is that can go on when you look at the outdoors as an educational tool for more than just the activity, for something deeper, for learning about your life skills, for learning about resilience, for reconnecting all of those senses up, what's all that about, and how do you apply that in a theme like peace building, where you've got to have discussions about particularly tricky subjects, like, my dad killed your dad. It's kind of tough, okay? Well, that stuff's happening on your streets too. Not that different, really. Different country. Still conflict, okay? So, that's what that's about, and I want to apply that learning, I want to tell people about it once it's all in there, okay? So that's going to help with my charitable side. That's going to help, hopefully, with the next intake of students coming in with the course that I finished, and I'll be doing some speaking about that around in the UK. Why should we care about the environment? Well, we did, and it's all for nothing. Okay? Well, yeah, there's a lot of good things that we might get out of it at the same time. I find this cartoon pretty funny. Okay? Bit of a no-brainer, really, okay? And there's a lot of stuff that we can do to make the world a little bit cleaner. We can look after it a bit more. We can encourage people to go outside and get connected with the soil, find out where their food comes from. Little things, okay? Those little things suddenly mean you care about it, okay? Rather than just throw it away and let's just buy another one, okay? Why use the outdoors? I've talked a little bit about that, but let's go a little bit more. So it's not just about leisure, it's actually about your health, okay? So by going outside, you know, in child's development, that's really, really important, okay? And more time that's spent watching TV, eating fast food, doing all that kind of stuff, actually, you're going to develop diabetes, you're going to get ADHD, you're going to want things like this all the time. You're not going to be able to enjoy some of the things in life which require creativity, which require a little bit of tenacity, which require working together as a team. Okay? From a group work perspective, it gets you out of your normal surroundings. Life seems a bit different from that perspective. And it helps you reprioritize things in your life. When you go away, and you're doing all that stuff in the outdoors, suddenly you don't care about your phone or your laptop or your Game Boy or your Nintendo DS or whatever it happens to be. Those things don't seem to matter. Things like pets, things like family, things like your friends, those things matter. Okay? Suddenly you remember that when you're away. It's unpredictable. Everything's controlled by the environment. The weather changes. Suddenly you could be out in a boat and it could suddenly turn into a hurricane if you're not watching out for that on the weather forecast. Okay? And, well, it's not very safe then. You shouldn't be out. Maybe it's time to go grab a surfboard instead. Okay? But, you know, it's very surprising and it's adapting all the time, so you can't really predict everything that's going to happen. So, as a worker out there, you've got to be on your toes all the time. You've got to be adapting and changing with the scenario to get the most out of the learning and to keep everybody safe at the same time. So that's always pretty exciting. Unlevel terrain, level playing field. Suddenly, the high school jock can be the guy that's absolutely crapping himself. Okay? And little Johnny, the weed that everybody thinks is a complete nerd, is the guy that gets it and is thriving. Okay? And suddenly that changes the dynamics of everything that happens in the normal social structures of things. And you start to appreciate differences in people as positives rather than just negatives. So that's a really fun thing about working in a completely crazy environment like that. It's inspiring, it's authentic, because we didn't make it, it happens to be there. And that's got a resonance to it, you know. When you go into some of those beautiful places, and you've got some around here, you've got a beautiful delta, you've got a big mountain over there, there's some pretty cool places. Okay? When you go there, I bet you're inspired. And it's not very expensive to go there, to go and walk up a hill. It's free. You just got to get there.
I think we have a community, at least a certain amount of the community that is very committed to making things better and willing to help.
That's been my experience, definitely. Well, yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, I have met a lot of people since I got here, and pretty much without exception, people have really been very passionate about making change here, and really committed to doing whatever they can to figure that out. And you don't always get that. You really don't, you know. And some people are just resigned to, it's going to be bad, it's always going to be bad, and nothing we can do about it. And actually, there's a feistiness here. You know, that, no, no, this isn't going to be how it finishes. And that's really quite exciting and inspiring as well. So it's been a pleasure to meet a lot of people. Antioch High today, I was with Louis Rocha, who's the principal there, and his whole leadership team. And they were really, really trying to work through, okay, they've got 40 kids in the class. They've got Sycamore on one side, they've got the 19th Street Circle on the other side. They've got a lot of crazy stuff to deal with, okay, and things are changing rapidly. And that's not always how it was for that school. So the old methods don't work. So they're having to really figure out, well, how do we deal with this? How, you know, do we just keep on going as if nothing were different or whatever, or how do we change it? And so they've been going around and they've been looking at best practice in other schools, in other big cities, and figuring out, well, what strategies do they have, what can we do? And they're absolutely reforming their entire school system in how they teach. And so they're forming academies, they're forming teams within those academies, and they're really trying to look at it. And the teachers that I saw around the table were really into it, and they were willing to go the extra mile, because it wasn't just about a paycheck for them. They did care about the young people that were there. I'm sure that's not always the case, but that was definitely what I saw today. Same at Live Oak. Again, really, really passionate, really committed people. You know, that's quite a special thing. And here, you know, it's really cool too. So yeah, I think, you know, there's a lot of big challenges, but I think people are trying to figure their way through it. So I think that's cool. Okay, a little bit of time for reflection. Okay, so interest and excitement, respect, sense of belonging, someone to look up to be entertained. The big question is at the bottom, what are these things worth? Okay, and young people are interested in all of those things at the top. Most people are interested in all of those things at the top. Okay, and you can get those things in a gang, or you can get them in a well-functioning family. Okay, or you can get them by going into the outdoors. So I love about the outdoors. Okay, and getting involved in that stuff. Or you can get it in a school too. Okay, so what I would really like to see, you know, happening, and I think it is happening a lot in Antioch, is people starting to think, well, what is this worth to me? Is this worth destroying my community by not addressing some of these issues in a positive way? How can I do that? And so, if you just have that question in your head, what's it worth? Okay, what's it really worth? So, and here's my challenge to you. Go outside for the right reasons, not to riot. Okay, but this is what I want you to do. Find somewhere with some natural green space. Don't care where it is. If it's a park, if it's a strip of grass with a tree in it somewhere. Okay, switch off your phone. Spend 10 minutes. Eat a piece of fruit. Stretch your arms and legs out. Okay, and you will feel better. Okay. And, you know, if your kid's stressing out or there's a few issues or whatever, maybe go do it together somewhere, okay? Or encourage them to go and do it. Or do it with them the first time and then encourage them to go back and do it again. But that cooling off, that reflection period, that little calm and that green space can make a very big difference very quickly, even if you just had that experience and just remember. I can do it for you. So, you can always make a positive choice.